We open Primera Printhead by double-clicking on it. If this is the first time you're opening the software, we have to check for updates. Even though you just downloaded the software, there will be updates available either for the software or for the firmware on the device. You press the gear settings and then check for updates. There are updates available, so if it does not start up automatically, you have to indicate it, of course. This software is mandatory because it is the only feedback you get from your printer. If there is a problem with the printer, it will show up here. Also, if the printer is printing, then it will say printing. The jobs that are still in the memory and have not yet been printed will appear here in the queue. On the right side, you can see how many remaining ink levels there are in your cartridge. The cartridge is a monoblock, which means that it contains 3 colors to make all the other colors. Black is composed by mixing the 3 colors together. The colors are used at the same time, so if cyan is at 90%, then magenta and yellow will also be at 90%. Below this, the buttons here you will also use to clean your printhead. You can use this in case you have print quality problems, for example lines or stripes in the print, blanks, or there is a color that is missing, then you can start a cleaning here. The cleaning is explained in another video. Below you find a counter that you can reset if necessary. The next step in the print menu is called print alignment. Here we can reposition the image on the label, for example if you want to print borderless. We will explain this in a separate video. The next step, label feed. Here we can specify what type of material we put in the printer. This could be die-cut material. These are white labels with a gap in between. You can also start putting in transparent labels or labels with a black mark on the back. This is called reflective material. Here we can clearly see the black band on the labels. And you can also use continuous material. It's important that you make the selection before you load the paper. The LX910 is also equipped with a cutter. The blade can cut at the end of the job. You notice, for example, in light blue, this means that this option is active. The same for the die cut mode that is also active. Cut after no activity means that the printer cuts at the end of the job automatically. You can also choose to cut every label or select that you will cut only when you press the feed button, so at the end of the job it will not cut automatically unless you press the feed button. This has the advantage that you can print several jobs after each other on one long job. You can also specify a counter that he will, for example, cut every 5 labels or every 2 labels. The choice is yours. If you prefer not to work with a knife, you want to cut manually, then you can turn off cutter and then the knife is deactivated. Here you have 2 options, present after no activity and do not present. In do not present mode, the last label printed will stay in the printer. Do not present mode we use, for example, when rewinding the labels, so when you go from roll to roll with the optional rewinder. The last tab is called Printer Settings. Here you have the Advanced Settings button, and in it you have a number of options. The most important option is the Calibrate paper sensor. In case you want to insert the paper into the printer and the printer doesn't immediately detect the paper, it doesn't automatically accept the paper, then you can recalibrate the paper sensor. It's important that you remove all the material from the machine. You close the cover and afterwards you can press Calibrate Sensor. Changing the language, you can press Settings here. Here you have the option to minimize the print hub while printing. This way you have less interaction on the desktop and you can also choose to close it automatically at the end of the job.